Hey, what's going on, everybody? Just wanted to make a video today talking about a build that I've been playing recently. It's a Sentinel build. It's actually the Warpath Void Knight build. It's been really interesting so far, actually. I originally was trying to avoid playing this specifically because it is a one button ability sort of a thing, but actually playing these past couple of days, I've actually realized it's not a one button build. It's actually a multi button build, which is actually really cool. There's also a lot of room to experiment with this build. You can add a whole bunch of different things in this build to kind of make it your own. So, just kind of wanted to go quickly about describing what the build kind of revolves around. So mainly it's revolves around the Warpath scaling. It revolves around Warpath being able to do an echo while you're spinning. So reading this, it says while spinning, you deal increased void damage, and you have a chance each second to create an echo at the recent location that uses Warpath on the spot for 2 seconds. So just looking at that first sentence, we deal increased void damage, which is amazing. Our echo has a chance to stop where we were and spin for 2 seconds in the spot, which is actually really nice considering that echoes just repeat the skill. And a lot of the times it can happen after you've killed an enemy and the skill gets echoed and there's no enemy there. So this is kind of convenient in regards to you're moving in a direction, you were in that area, you get a echo that spawns in that area, and then all of a sudden, you're doing double the damage in that location. The second one, the second sentence says this chance is equal to twice your chance for skills to echo. So originally making the Void Knight, you get a 10% chance, so that it immediately becomes a 20% chance. And then on top of that, you get another 10%, so another 20, so we're sitting at 40. And then we're at 60 echo chance, and then finally at 80. So ultimately, we end up getting at about an 80% echo chance, which is actually really amazing, considering we don't really do anything else other than Spin-2-Win. So just a few things to go by this. Channeled is one scaling tag that has a lot of different modifiers to it. Some things like increased damage while channeling. This is something that I'm trying to currently get for my Apathy's Maw, which is the weapon that I'm using for this build. So just going over a little bit about what the skills are, right? And I'll go into a little in depth about what skills you can use, but the majority is going to be based around Echo Knight. You're going to get Apocalypse Whirl, which increases your time rot infliction chance, as well as Maw of the Deep, which increases your hit damage per time rot. So if you have 12 stacks of time rot on the enemy, you're gonna end up be doing 120% more damage to that enemy, which really helps out for bosses. So a couple of things here. Now, I feel like volatile reversal is definitely necessary for one, having the increased attack speed. So you gain movement speed after you use it, plus you gain attack speed. Attack speed is very critical when it comes to this build, considering that our Warpath, hits it hits twice your attack rate, but the added damage applies at 60% effectiveness, and there's a 40% less chance to apply ailments. The great thing about Warpath is that you can't be stunned, and we actually do end up regenning mana with Dark Nexus. It ends up restoring 14 mana every 3 seconds, which really helps our regen when we're spamming our other abilities. So Warpath is a very nice, easy spin-to-win one-button kind of a build. But a lot of these other skills that I have here are very much universally utility. Okay, so let me just go into a little in depth about the reasons why I chose these 4 skills compared to the ones that are on other websites. So originally I chose Shield Rush just for the movement ability. Allows me to travel without having a shield, which is very nice, considering that a lot of the damage I'm doing is only going to be against full health enemies with this. I'm going to be charging, I'm going to be going straight through enemies, and they're not going to be hit yet. So dealing as the maximum amount of damage I can as I'm traveling through them would be amazing. That's why you take Will Breaker. Everything else in here is just utility, mana efficiency, take less damage, etc., etc. It's not necessary to have this. Technically, you could go for like Sigils of Hope and get Sigils of Despair if you really wanted to for this, but I do enjoy having Shield Rush just for the off chance that there's something in my way and I need to get out quickly, like the Rain of Dragons chaos, the boss at the end who does that big ring. It's very easy to go in and out using Shield Rush. Second thing that I want to bring to the attention is Anomaly. So Anomaly is used in my, what is it, the Void, Devouring Orb build, excuse me, where you make the time bubble on yourself and it moves with you. The whole point of this is to shred, where is it? There it is. It shreds Void resistance every second while the target is in there, as well as giving attack speed and cooldown speed. So very helpful when it comes to warpathing and being able to sort of maneuver around while also getting good attack speed, cooldown recovery, you get increased duration. There's just a lot of benefits that come with Anomaly. So the last thing I want to bring to the attention is I've tried using different builds, different skills for this last skill, and I have found that Void Cleave actually does a really good job. The one thing that I'm using it mainly for right now is a traversal skill, so I can move around the map quickly. But when I use it and I hit an enemy, my Ravaging Aura starts for 10 seconds, right? I hit at least 3 enemies and I get a Ravaging Aura. Now, it doesn't do very much damage. So you can see that I'm doing 853. It's not that good damage, but when there's 20 mobs and I'm doing 800 damage to every single mob that's in there, it ends up being extremely good damage. So that's the whole reason why I keep Void Cleave, as well as shredding Void Res and adding Time Rot stacks. There's a lot of good things for why you would want to keep this skill. So let's jump into an Echo, and I'll just show you really quick kind of how the build plays. It's actually quite a lot of fun, and it does do a very considerable amount of damage. I've been trying to get this character ready for arenas. I feel like the arena will be massively undertuned for this build, considering that it just plows through everything, right? Look, I'm moving in one direction, and I'm killing things behind. The echoes are spawning behind me, so if there's any enemies that are left over, they get hit by that, right? And this is pretty self-explanatory, right? And I'm just using one skill. So I'll show you kind of the rotation of how things move and how things work. That was a very fast echo. So yeah, basically you're gonna, hold down your button to enable Warpath. It can be on any key, you just need to hold it down. The nice thing about Warpath is that you can click other things on the ground, so you don't need to be completely stopped and not casting the skill. Things like if there's an item that drops, if there's, see, like these, right? So I would have to stop and actually click it, but if you move your mouse close to your character, you slow down. You can stop it completely, and you just click and pick it up and move on. So it's very convenient in that regard. You don't have to worry about stopping and moving. It's just always moving, constant moving. So these other abilities, let's see if I can find a tougher enemy to sort of try this stuff out on. Let me get in here. Try this again, and I'll show you guys kind of how I start, how I finish, the reasons why I use all of this stuff in here. Yeah, so we start off. Oh my goodness, I love it. Start off with Warpath, right? Maybe use Void Cleave, get some extra range and damage. Anomaly to get that extra bubble. Shred these enemies down, and then like, right, shield rush to the next area. And that's it. This is it. The build is very simple, very basic, but it's very fun. It ends up lighting up your screen with a lot of these circles, which is actually really kind of cool. If you don't enjoy that sort of thing, then this build probably is not for you, because it has to do with a lot of that. So, but you can see, like, I started going through here, took less damage, and then just, you know, didn't want to stay there, and essentially just kept moving, and I was able to. I don't have to stay in one position long. If I want the echo to happen, I just move in a circle like this, and it appears on the circle, right? So, very easy to sort of figure out where the damage is going, how to get the damage out. There's no real trick to making it work. It's just understanding how Warpath functions, and that's it, right? So you use that, you get extra damage, and then you use volatile reversal on bosses when you're a little more stationary. You're not moving through so quickly. But you can see that my echoes are spawning behind me. So this would be time to use that. Move around here. That's also another thing that I use Void Cleave for, is to catching up to the ranged mobs quicker. A lot of the times the ranged mobs will just sit in the back, as they should, and just fire arrows or fire spells. And sometimes your Warpath can get directly in the center of all those attacks. So a good thing to do is to go up like that. Just quick, you're fast, you're quick, you're efficient, and you're moving. So in a nutshell, that's basically it, right? Is essentially just a spin-to-win sort of playstyle. You're using Anomaly to activate it and get this bubble around you that shreds void resistance, gets you better attack speed, gets you cooldown recovery. You use Void Cleave to hit an enemy. You get the Ravaging Aura, which also does damage with Anomaly. You Volatile Reversal to get extra damage, as well as increasing your attack speed and movement speed. It's just the sky's the limit when it comes to this sort of thing. Now, something to bear in mind is because I am wearing these gloves, I'm not critting. And because I'm not critting, it means I can use something like Singularity, right? And Singularity does 15% more hit damage. So on top of what I'm doing, 15% more is just for one idol is really nice. And you can see here, I'm clearly mowing through enemies. Right, these big baddies, they are taking like 1,800 just a normal hit from me, which I feel is extremely good. And yeah, just moving around in a circle, right? If you encounter an enemy that's strong, you just move in a circle around them, and your echoes will spawn around them, and you'll start dealing 100%, 200% damage because you're attacking them and your echo is also attacking them. So Now, I have foregone some defenses in order to make this visually work, so that I'm dealing a lot of damage. Something to keep in mind when you're pushing higher corruption is getting something that removes the ailment off of the belt. Let me see, where is this? Ward gained on potion use, no. Let's see. There it is. Ward and ailment cleansing on potion use, right? So you put one of these on your belt, and you don't have to worry about ailments again. You just hit your potion, and all your ailments are gone, which is extremely nice. So, but yeah, that's pretty much the build. I just wanted to get something out here. I've been playing this build for maybe 4 days, 5 days, and I'm really starting to enjoy it. I didn't think I would because of the whole spin-to-win aspect. I'm not that much of a fan of playing it, but it actually plays very nicely and does a really good damage, considering that a lot of the damage comes from you moving in a circle, whether you're spinning in a circle or you're actually moving around the boss. It spawns another echo, and you continue to do damage around that boss while the echo does damage to him as well. So, a lot of synergy. Oh, before I forget, now, a lot of the other websites list, like, not using Void Cleave and using Sigil of Hope, using Healing Hands, using Devouring Orb. There's a lot of different builds you can use with this. Now, the one thing you have to keep in mind is that a lot of the damage you're doing is melee damage. You're not doing any spell damage. So you don't need anything on here that increases spell damage. So keep that in mind when you're figuring out what spells to use. But majority of the time, you're going to be pretty good. And something to also keep in mind is Sentinels have a inherent attack speed bonus or increased damage bonus. So depending on what you want to use, if you feel like your attack speed is considerably higher, then use a mace, you know, and use and put some points into there. You can also, you know, use this this mace up here that, you know, Shadow Beacon. Does melee void damage, adds to void skills, increased area for void skills, and, you know, adds melee damage to the base weapon. So something like this with these talents can actually make the build considerably good. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. I enjoyed making it, and I'm planning on making a lot more builds for Sentinel, considering it's one of my favorite classes in Last Epoch. Let me know what you guys think. If you enjoyed it, if you also played a build like this before in the past, what skills you had, what items you had. I'm willing to try out a lot of different skills for this. I'm very curious to see how it works. So hope you guys enjoyed the video, and yeah, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you later, guys.